Meeting will now come to order. Please turn down your cell phones or put them on vibrate. First, we have the Pledge of Allegiance. Mr. Corey Perilou, you up?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. That's America.
Thank you for your service, Mr. Perilou. Next, we have roll call. Mr. Colley.
Seat A, Chucky Jeremy.
Here.
Seat B, Rodney R. Gisclair, absent. Seat C, Jimmy Lafourche.
Here.
Seat D, Rodney J. Gisclair.
Here.
Seat E, Curtis Pierce.
Here.
Seat F, Larry Griffin.
Here.
Seat G, John Melisson.
Here.
Seat H, Mike Calais here. Seat I, Chris Calais.
Here.
We have a quorum.
We have a quorum. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next, approved minutes from October 9, 2019 regular meeting and October 7, 2000 special meeting. Need a motion? Move.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Griffin, second by Mr. Melisson. Any discussion? Any public comment? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed. Next, we have our director's report. You up, Mr. Chasson?
All right, thank you, Mr. President. First is our Northern Expansion projects. Northern Expansion Slip C 400-foot East Part 2 bulkhead. Picciola and Associates. Joe Picciola.
Yes, Sea Level Construction's the contractor. They've been on site for a couple of weeks now. They're driving steel sheet pile, and I imagine they're going to be driving steel sheet pile for another 2 weeks at least. And then they'll start backing up and doing the concrete dead man.
Okay. All right. So we have few more months. It's going to take a little while to do the dead man. How many dead men we have?
There's only about 5 or 6.
5 or 6?
Yeah.
Too bad.
It's not going to be that bad.
Any questions? All right. Northern Expansion Slip C 1,100-foot East bulkhead.
Shaver's Widow Construction was the low bidder on this contract. We have all the contracts done and signed. We do have a resolution on the agenda to approve DOTD's concurrence of our awarding the contract, and we do have a pre-construction meeting scheduled for next Wednesday, the 20th, at 10 a.m.
Okay. Any questions? Thank you, Joe. All right, Minor Jeremy Senior Road Paving, Angelette Picciola. Neil.
All right, this project is currently in the clear lien period. That's going to end on December the 12th. Byron Talbot was the contractor on this project. Everything went very well. And we have before you today change order number 1 later on the agenda. It's a deduct change order for $112,000 and $136.21. It's for a reduction in the amount of aggregate and asphalt material that was used on the project.
Okay. Any questions? Thank you, Neil.
Thank you.
All right, Coastal Wetlands Part. Thad, you're up.
Sorry for the other night. I was feeling a little under the weather. I know the check kind of gave y'all kind of an update on where things stand. So we're slated to have the viewfinder sent to us by the end of this month. The Land, Water, and Conservation Fund, we're working with Wisner Land Trust to get an MOU in place, and we're working through that second submittal process and the documents that we need to do to continue to move that forward. And then finally, the Recreational Trails Program. I think they have a lot of projects in their queue with their program manager, so we're still waiting to hear back on our status in regards to that. But all in all, everything is moving forward. And I know that Davey kind of gave everyone an update at the last meeting just about where things stand with the Tidal Creek and some of the base work that's being done with the parking area there.
All right. Any questions? Okay, thank you, Thad. All right, moving on to airport projects. Joe Wheeler.
For operations for the month of October, we had 2,304 aircraft operations, 11,418 passengers and planes, and 19,529 vehicles on Airport Road. Still looking good for the year. The airfield drainage project is on schedule. We did close the runway yesterday and was able to reopen by 5 p.m. yesterday afternoon with a 1,000-foot displaced threshold. So we have 5,500 feet available of runway. We do have some flights coming in and out. The rain may stop them today. Just depends on how more intense it gets. But as of right now, we look at the possibility of reopening the runway on Saturday to normal operation, 6,500 feet. So, y'all have any questions?
Yes. Could you repeat how much car traffic?
Yes, sir. It's 19,529 vehicles.
For last month?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
No problem.
All right, thank you, Joe. Okay, and the Airport Connector Road and Bridge, Picciola and Associates. Joe.
Yes, we're proceeding with the design work. We made a 30% design plan submittal to DOTD on November 4th. We're starting to get comments back from them, kind of trickling in, and we're looking at those as we go. Traffic study is progressing. We've had a submittal on that, and DOTD had a few comments. We're incorporating that, and they're going to be completing the rest of the traffic study. We're also working on a wetland delineation, cultural resources survey, and the borings in the field were completed last week, and then I'm going to start doing their report now. Next thing we're working on is permit drawings and applications, which we expect to have in by next week sometime, and then also we're doing right-of-way surveys. So a lot of stuff going on, a lot of meetings, but it's going well.
Yeah. And in terms of appraisal, property appraisal, that should be official, have an agreement together in the next 2 weeks, and then we'll be able to get that appraisal finally done. So that'll take probably a month to get a report back. So hopefully by end of year, beginning of January, we have an appraisal that we can start working with. Okay?
Question on the traffic study, is that completed or still ongoing, or?
They're not complete yet. I mean, they've done a lot of modeling basically modeling what's going to happen when you put this bridge and this connector road in this location and how it's going to affect other traffic.
Right.
And they had some comments on that, so they're incorporating that. But, I mean, we should be finalizing our report in the next month or so. We will probably have to request from DOTD specifically to have a traffic signal there. The plan is to have a signal at LA1, a caution light at 308, and also a caution light on 3235, which is similar to what we already have at the Galliana Bridge at the church right now.
Right. Good.
Right. Because
Thanks.
if we don't push to actually have signals, they would put 0 lights if it was up to DOTD, which is obviously not safe.
No.
And we're going to do everything in our power to make sure that happens, in getting support letters from parish council and our state delegation and everyone to make sure. And we'll have those direct discussions with the Secretary of DOTD.
We want it to open up like we intend it to be, not open up and then let's see what happens. We
Yeah.
don't want to do that.
Yep, correct.
Right.
Yep.
Good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, moving on to other projects. Section 203 feasibility study, GIS engineering. John.
We had a big meeting last Monday and Tuesday down at the port, basically trying to figure out what to do with the Corps' latest comments. They don't seem to believe the future without project scenario, but we're addressing those comments. As we mentioned Monday night, we are scheduling a meeting with the Assistant Secretary of the Army for the Corps. Have you had a chance to schedule that yet?
Yeah, they did not respond yet with the actual date. So it'll be sometime in second or third week of December.
So we'll go up there with Jed and a couple of the commissioners. I heard we're going to go up there, so.
Yep. Things are progressing very quickly, so we can be ready for that meeting for sure. Okay?
Thank you.
All right, Bell Pass Tower upgrades. John Crochet. April Danos and Chief Mike Kindler are at a meeting together, so John is doing the update on that.
Yes. So We are preparing the bid package for the platform modification. Also, the contract for the security systems is ongoing, should be complete by December. Then it will go out for RFP.
Questions? Thank you, John. All right, update from LA1 Coalition. Henri, thank you for being here.
Yes, good morning. The coalition has continued to work in advance of the anticipated federal grant application for Phase 2 of the LA1 project. The U.S. DOT is expected to formally announce that funding opportunity before the end of the year. On the state level, DOTD has agreed to submit the LA1 project as its sole applicant to the infra grant round. And Louisiana DOTD has agreed to contract the firm HNTB to help calculate and write an updated cost-benefit analysis for the project. And furthermore, DOTD has agreed to contract with the economic modeling firm REMI, which stands for Regional Economic Modeling Incorporated. They're out of Boston, to provide a program that can take certain economic inputs relative to the Gulf of Mexico to most correctly calculate that cost-benefit percentage. So at the end of the day, the U.S. DOT is looking for a +1 calculation on the cost-benefit analysis, which means if the project's going to cost $375 million to build, our federal, state, parish, port, governments, combined with the benefits of jobs and people and a larger community will receive $375 million back in long-term benefits to cover the cost of that investment. So calculating this will take numerous interviews with companies and government entities, and that will be the bulk of my work over the next few months. Yesterday, DOTD hosted a grant kickoff meeting with the coalition and HNTB that had various DOTD department heads at it and had a total of 16 people in attendance. As a side note, I am making progress with the industry match to be submitted with this grant. I currently have 3 match commitment letters received. I have 2 more I anticipate receiving in the next weeks, and over a dozen more that are being considered within company leadership chains. And finally, the coalition participated in 2 events in Washington seeking to support Senator Cassidy's bill to increase Gulf of Mexico states' percentage of federal revenue sharing funds derived from the Outer Continental Shelf. So that's our update. Any questions?
Any questions for Henri?
Nope.
Thank you, Henri.
Okay.
Okay, something that's not on the agenda, but I wanted to be able, if y'all are in agreement, there's a video I'd like to show. What is it, Thad? It's about 4 minutes? About 4 minutes. We participated, the Friends of Bayou Lafourche have put together, it's basically a 4-part series of 4 videos to show how the bayou is so critically important to our communities that it flows through. And so we took them out and did some interviewing and where we relayed a lot of statistics about the port. And this is the first of the 4 videos basically highlighting the importance of Bayou Lafourche to Port Fourchon and the business that it surrounds in the community. So if we want to go ahead and play that video, if y'all are okay with that, it's about 4 minutes.
No,
Okay, because we're not going to discuss it.
Port Fourchon is a service base for the offshore oil and gas industry. We service virtually all of the deepwater oil and gas industry in terms of exploration and production, and we are the premier oil and gas service port in the Gulf of Mexico, but really for our nation. With all that being said, we play some key role in about 16% of the nation's oil supply. Bayou Lafourche is critically important for our operations on a daily basis. Anywhere from 40 to 80 million gallons of water is metered in Port Fourchon. The importance of that fresh water to the drilling and production of oil and gas for our nation's energy security is very important. Bayou Lafourche ends in the Gulf of Mexico at Belle Pass, which is the entrance to Port Fourchon. As you're traversing the port's channels, Bayou Lafourche is where all the action happens. The 250 somewhat vessels per day that we have coming in and out of the port, it's critical for access into and out of Port Fourchon to provide the services necessary for the exploration and production of oil and gas in the Gulf of Mexico. As well as oil and gas, there's a large commercial and recreational fishing operation out of Port Fourchon. A lot of shrimp trawlers, crabbers, and commercial fishermen, as well as recreational fishermen coming in and out of Port Fourchon. Within a 40-mile area of the port, there's over 600 rigs and platforms or structures in the Gulf of Mexico. Every one of those is an artificial reef, so it's really great fishing, and that's why there's so much activity here in Port Fourchon. In terms of jobs, Port Fourchon is important for about 8,500 direct jobs for the Houma Thibodeau MSA. In terms of statewide, over 11,000 jobs are impacted by the existence of Port Fourchon. In terms of impact to the national economy, if for whatever reason Fourchon does not operate for a period of 3 weeks, it has a $22 million per hour impact to the national GDP. So anytime Fourchon is inaccessible, $22 million per hour is not going to the national gross domestic product. So that's, again, important, and Bayou Lafourche plays a key role in all of that. We can't talk about the oil and gas industry and Port Fourchon without talking about the environment and environmental stability. We live on the mindset here at the port that we all want to be holistically resilient. Fresh water coming down Bayou Lafourche is really life for both the people that live on Bayou Lafourche as well as the business here in port. And we all need fresh water. A lot of times it's an afterthought. So whatever work can be done to provide more cubic feet per second into Bayou Lafourche at that location in Donaldsonville, pushing more fresh water down Bayou Lafourche will allow us to continue to build, continue to bring and increase our environmental capability, continue to increase our economic viability here in the parish and our region. Fresh water is key to all of that, and we need to not make it an afterthought. We need to bring it to the forefront. I think that's what we're doing. We're very happy to have a good relationship with folks at Friends of Bayou Lafourche to be able to bring about the importance of the bayou and everything we do in Lafourche Parish.
All right, I hope y'all like that we took part in that video. I think it's important and really good information. I forgot I said most of that stuff. So I think it's a really good video and something that we can actually utilize to highlight who we are, what we do, and how important the community it is in the community.
And the community or the public is going to be able to view this somewhere?
Absolutely. Thad, you want to just kind of
Tell us
how is
we
the
can
public
see
going to
it.
be able to
access it?
How are we going to view this?
Yeah, so, I mean, I guess initially when it came out, Ryan Pert with Friends of Bayou Lafourche, who we worked with, setting up, numerous times for them to get some aerial shots, to do the interviews. He tagged me on the video, so we immediately put that on Facebook, on Twitter, those social media functions that we would typically do. I'm probably going to do maybe like a messaging type of thing to direct people even further to it.
Okay.
One of the good things about it is something I haven't even really discussed a whole lot with Chet at this point, but I'll discuss with all of y'all. There's a lot of footage that was done here that is not even captured. So the hope is we can maybe work with some of that footage and actually maybe have some additional things that we can actually use on in conjunction with them that we can put out, right? We talk about the Tidal Creek project with some good footage and everything. But as y'all saw in that particular video, I was extremely pleased with the quality of it. The fact that it's 4 parts is really nice as well. At first, they wanted to put it as one large-scale video, but they chose to actually do it in segments. So there'll be 3 additional ones that they'll launch on a weekly. This was the first one. So just keeping track with their Facebook page, or Friends of Bayou Lafourche, and we'll also, in tandem, we'll share what they put out about other areas about Bayou Lafourche as they come out. But like I said, it was a really good project, really good cooperation with Friends of Bayou Lafourche, and like I said, I thought it really came out well.
And Thad will agree with me, it was fun to do, because it was the same production company that DJ Rhett works for, and he was there. So it was pretty funny. I mean, we had a good time producing that video.
It was on Daily Blast Live this morning.
Yeah.
Did you all choose the organ player?
No, we did not.
Okay.
That wasn't you?
No.
All right.
All right.
Thank you,
Well,
Pat.
congratulations, you did extremely well job on this. All right, next we have public comment. Mr. Lorraine.
Good morning.
Morning.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, people in the audience. I just want y'all, which y'all probably already know, but I'd like the people to know that the council finally passed a cooperative endeavor for the airport road from 3235 to LA 1 to help you guys. On October the 8th, we went to the council, and it was deferred, so the DA can look at it. I got to tell you, your attorney did a great job of putting it together. The DA reviewed it, very few changes were made. That was a delay tactic. We were fighting time, we were fighting November the 1st was a deadline for the state for things to be turned in. But we had another meeting on October the 22nd. So we went to October the 22nd, Mr. Chet came and my colleague came, and I thank him for that. And the council finally passed it. The port's putting up 4.5 million. The parish is gonna put up 4.5 million. Y'all went and get a $16 million grant with the federal government, not the parish. The port did that. And there's 4 phases to this project. 2 have been completed. 1 was started in the Charlotte Randolph administration and it finished in the Jimmy Cantrell administration to repave from 308 to the bridge. That was done. 1.2 million paid for out of road sales tax 2, not the parish coffers. Our sales tax paid for that. Then we got a grant to widen it for the 18-wheelers from the EDA, 700,000. Parish put up 348 out of road sales tax 2, and the port put up 100,000. So those 2 projects were done. Now the 4.5 million, which we don't have to come up with all in one lump sum, it's by year, which is good. And we finally got the cooperative endeavor approved. So, and there's a timeline on that one. I think September the 20th, 2020, things have to move.
Start the project.
Right, it has to be started. So all I'm saying is on a $35 million project, the parish is going to come up with $4.5 million. That is a steal and a deal. And it's going to help everybody. Everybody. It's going to help the community. It's going to develop. And I want to thank you guys. I got a very good working relationship with the port. We agree and disagree, but we agree mostly. And we all want to do things what's right for the public. Not what's right for me, not what's right for you, what's right for the public, the safety of the public. Can you imagine with a road right there, how much it's going to undo the bottleneck at the South Lafourche Bridge? Most of those people are going to go that way. And you know what's the key issue? It's going to develop more tax dollars, which some of these councilmen don't understand. whatever this port generates does not stay here. It's spread throughout the parish. It benefits them. So nobody can tell me that 4.5 million on 35 million is not a good deal. I want to continue to work with you. I was reelected. In fact, I increased the point system. Evidently, they're starting to like me a little more. But anyway, whatever I could do for you guys, I'll be happy to do it. I can tell you this, you're going to see a difference in this parish council. You're going to see more cooperation. And it doesn't take a no-brainer to see where the funds come from. But we don't want everything, but we want our share. I thank you. God bless you. Have a good day.
Thank you, Mr. Lorraine. All right, Mr. Rowland.
Gentlemen, I'd like to congratulate y'all on the film that y'all put together. It's Section 1. And I just want to, I'm an old history buff, and I just want to remind y'all that the water used to flow freely before 1903, 1904, Donaldsonville, when they dammed off the river, the bayou. And since then, we've been having erosion and erosion and erosion because the water used to flow over the banks and keep everything filled. The fresh water brought life down there. Now we had brackish, and now it's salt mostly in the marshes and all that. So whatever y'all do, don't forget where we were before. We had rice growing at Leeville. We had orange groves at Leeville, and the land was abundant. We had a whole city at Leeville, a big city at Leeville. And just want to remind you of that if you keep on doing film, remember the old days, what was there before, and we've come a long way. And I'm very proud that what y'all doing right now. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Guidry.
Thank you.
Any more public comment? Mr. Perry? All right. Okay, moving on. Committee reports. First, we have Executive Committee. Members are Chucky Sherman, Chairman, Rodney Jusclair, Mike Cully, and John Mellison. First, we have considered the amendment of lease with H&A Seafood for additional terms.
All right, so we've been talking about this for several weeks now, but we've been able to extend with the landowner our leases with them. So as part of the terms of the lease we have with H&A Seafood, they would like to extend the lease for 5-year intervals through September 30th of 2045. So recommendation to approve.
Need a motion?
Move.
Moved by Mr. Chris Collier, second by Mr. Rodney Jusclair Sr. Any discussion? Any public comment? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed. Next, we have consider approving the request from Rotorcraft Leasing Company for the purpose hangar improvements on lease site SLIP-10.
Okay, so we recommend taking no action on this item. We've having further discussions with Rotorcraft, and we should have something ready for y'all to look at and approve ultimately at the December board meeting.
All right, need a motion? Moved
No,
by
no,
Mr.
you don't need to do anything.
Oh, that's true, we're not doing that on that, okay.
Take no action.
No action, okay. Next, consider approving bids for surplus equipment sale.
Okay, so we have a number of items that were bid upon. I'm going to read out what your motion should be, and then y'all can decide if y'all want to do that. But you should consider approving the bids for the surplus equipment sale. There's 18 items with high bids, which total $18,037.47. Includes 4 outboard engines, 4 vessels, 4 iPads, a Polaris Ranger, a bush hog, a pressure washer, a push mower, an inverter, and 3 phone cases. Of the remaining 25 items with no valid bids, we recommend disposal of 3 vessels and reduce the minimum bid amounts and re-advertise the 22 items on govdeals.com, which are servers, microphones, phones, and phone cases. So if y'all agree with that, you would need to take a motion.
I'd like to make a motion. We accept Mr. Chasson's suggestions and accept the high bids on the items required.
All right, I got a motion by Mr. Millison, second by Mr. Lafone. Any discussion? Any public comment? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion pass. Next, we go into permits and committees, waterways committees. Members are Chucky Sherman, Curtis Pierce, Jim LaFont, and Rodney Gisclair. Mr. Pierce, will you speak today?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. President.
Welcome back.
Thank you. Glad to be back. I see on my list, my first would be some considerations of some bids that were sent in for that sunken vessel removal. And Mr. Director, I would think you'd have some info on
we
that.
received five bids, and the low bid was from Tidewater Dock Incorporated for $4,100. Recommendation to approve.
All right, need a motion.
I'll move.
Moved by Mr. Mike Collins, second by Mr. Curtis Pierce. Any discussion? Any public comment? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed.
The bids were closed, huh?
The highest was 49,000. So, yeah, they were close.
It was
Right.
close.
That was close.
Okay, next we have, we're going to review some permits. The first one is from Shell Pipeline Company. It's in Lafourche Parish, the project. It's a proposed construction of 2 cathodic protection platforms, expansion of an existing platform, and an anomaly repair on an existing Cloverly Narco 24-inch pipeline. Approximately 205 cubic yards of native material will be displayed during project activities. Approximately 0.90 acres of freshwater marsh habitat may be impacted as a result of this proposed activity. The next one is from Harvest Midstream, which is also in Lafourche Parish. Proposal to conduct 7 anomaly repairs along the existing 24-inch Cloverly to Morrow pipeline. Approximately 1,659 cubic yards of material will be excavated, temporarily sidecast, and used as backfill immediately upon project completion. For work on the marsh, an airboat will be used for the excavation. Approximately 0.47 acres of marsh, water bottom, and upland habitat may be impacted by this proposed activity. And lastly, we have Steve Gremion in Lafourche Parish. And the description of this project is the project will consist of reclaiming land lost to the intercoastal waterway in La Rose by placing approximately 10,000 cubic yards of dirt and 6,700 cubic yards of rock to control future erosion, along with placement of mooring buoys, as much as 1.78 acres of ravine canal water bottom and 3.52 acres of urban upland habitat could be impacted by this project. And if there are no public comments, this would conclude my report, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Pierce. Next, we have Construction and Development Committees. Members are Larry Griffin, Chairman, Chris Colley, Jimmy LaFont, Chucky Sherman. Mr. Griffin.
Thank you, Mr. President. First is consider adopting the DOTD resolution certifying compliance with public bid laws for the Slip C 1,100 feet bulkhead Port 1 project.
So this resolution is what we do when we have port priority funds go into a project. And it's, again, a DOTD resolution that says we comply with the public bid law. Recommendation to approve.
All right, need a motion. Moved by Mr. Griffin, second by Mr. Chris Colley. Any discussion? Any public comment? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed.
Okay, next is consider approving change order number 1 from Byron E. Talbot, contractor, for a minor Sherman Senior Road pavement project.
So this change order is a deduct of $112,136.21 to balance everything out, and a recommendation to approve.
All right, need a motion. Moved by Mr. Larry Griffin, second by Mr. Rodney Gisclair Sr. Any discussion? Any public comment? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed.
Next is consider approving to terminate contract with Epic and advertise for new proposal for aviation fuel service.
All right, as part of the fuel agreement that we have, we can terminate the contract. And we've done all the notices that we needed to, and we've been having some issues getting fuel from them in time, and we need to move on and try to get another contractor in here that can actually provide us with fuel in the time that we need it. So recommendation to approve.
Right, need a motion. Moved by Mr. Jimmy Lafourche, second by Mr. Curtis Pierce. Any discussion? Any public comment? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed.
That concludes my report, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Griffin. Next, we have Finance Committee. Members are John Mellison, Jr., Chairman, Rodney Gisclair, Sr., Mike Colley, and Chucky Sheridan. Mr. Mellison.
Good morning, and thank you, Mr. President. We'll begin by considering approving payment of October 2019 invoices and recognizing those over $10,000. We'll begin with item 1, Sea Level Construction Incorporated, $470,737.06, and that is for Slip C Phase 3 Bulkhead Part 2. Item 2, PCO and Associates Incorporated, $265,173.90, and that is for Slip C Phase 3 400 linear feet of east bulkhead, Slip C Phase 3 1,100 linear feet of east bulkhead, the Airport Connector Road and Bridge, along with general engineering services and permits. Item 3, American Integration Contractors, $212,246.22. That is for HIDS maintenance contract and MAEOC contract for 2020 and services. Item 4, Bent Marine, $55,288.67. That is for the acquisition of 2 Yamaha 350 horsepower outboard engines. Item 5, Vision Communications, $42,190.55. That is cable, internet, and phone services. Item 6, Byron E. Talbert, Contractors Incorporated, $36,377.91, and that is for the paving of the Minus-Jeremy Road down in Fouchon. Item 7, Southland Dodge, $36,158.83, and that is for the purchase of a 2019 Ram 2500 crew truck, along with repairs on other vehicles. Item 8, Angelette Piciola, $28,059.50. That is for Port Fouchon maintenance, restoration, and protection, along with the Fouchon Island conceptual development. Item 9, Transform YX, $26,241.05. That's for license and equipment. Item 10, Grand Isle Shipyard Incorporated, $18,584.31, and that is for labor at the airport. Item 11, Volkert Incorporated, $18,060.50. That is for grant assistance for the Fouchon Bridge and Connector Road. Item 12, Guardian Computer, $17,360.62. That is for off-site backups, server, and network support. Item 13, Bank of America, $16,374.43, and that is for monthly credit card charges. Item 14, Urban Systems Incorporated, $12,900 even. That is for the traffic study for the airport corridor bridge access. Item 15, Expert Technology, $10,183.01. That is for security cameras and equipment and installation. That, along with our other expenditures, brings us to a grand total of $1,721,803.70. And Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion we accept these expenditures.
Got a motion from Mr. Millison, second from Mr. Mike Colley. Any discussion? Public comment? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed.
Next, we have consider approving 2019 October unaudited financial statements as discussed on Monday night. Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion we accept these.
I got a motion from Mr. Mellison, second from Mr. Rodney Gisclair, Sr. Any discussion? Any public comment? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed.
And last, we have consider approving out-of-state travel and training request. We have Director Chasson, along with 2 Port Commissioners to be determined to attend a Section 203 study meeting, along with the Assistant Secretary of the Army in Washington, D.C. Dates to be determined sometimes in December. I'd like to make a motion, we accept these requests.
I got a motion by Mr. John Mellison, second by Mr. Mike Colley. Any discussion? Any public comment? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
And Mr.
Motion
President,
passed.
this concludes the financial report.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Mellison. Any other business? Public comment? Before I adjourn, I'd like to say it was Veterans Day this week, everyone. And this is something that I like to tell everyone, to say that, and I guess I'm speaking from this board. Thank you to all the military personnel and veterans who served in our military. I think you did a wonderful job, but from this board, I really think, and not only this board, the employees, thank y'all for your service. Mr. Perry Lou, I know you're here, but we really want to thank y'all for your services. Without y'all, we wouldn't have this. So, thank y'all. Okay, next. I got a motion from Mr. Jimmy Lafourche to adjourn, seconded by Mr. John Mellison. Any discussion? Any public comment? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion passed. Thank y'all for coming. We're glad to see y'all. Y'all come back. Meeting adjourned.